to allocate LL number Nairobi Block 156/48 for the school would be implemented. Worryingly, the lad is now under new threat without any tangible steps having been taken to facilitate its transfer or development. This matter is very weighty and cuts across 3 ministries, namely education, lands, public works and housing, housing and urban development, and interior and national administration. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that, pursuant to Standing Order number 216(5)A and 218(2), I seek an inquiry into the matter from the chairperson of Departmental Committee on Education on the issue with a view to ensuring that the presidential directive is implemented without delay, including, number 1, the current ownership of LL number Nairobi Block 156-548 land adjacent to Komorok South Primary School, and the progress made by the Ministry of Education to facilitate the compulsory acquisition of RAD for purposes of establishment of a public educational facilities. Number 2, the measures in place to preserve the said land for the intended public facilities and safeguard it from potential irregular acquisition. Number 3, the progress made by the ministry in implementing the proposal for establishment of public secondary school and a TVET center in the said land. And finally, the plan by the ministry to expand post-primary education infrastructure within Embakasi Central constituency and Nairobi City County at large in light of the growing population against the strained facilities. I further request that the committee engage the Ministry of RADS, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development Ministry, and the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, and the National Lands Commission for a full resolution of this matter. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair, Education, are you in the House? Vice Chair? Any member? No member of Education Committee is in the House. Majority Whip?
Honorable Speaker, we'll make sure that the second week after recess, we'll be able to give the response.
Kindly note, this issue is deeper than the normal 44(2)C. It may require an inquiry, and it may require cooperation from the other committees. Land specifically is important, so take maybe 3 weeks. I would give you 3 weeks to bring a report to the House. After we come back the 3rd week.
Thank you.
Before we go to the next one, allow me to recognize in the public gallery students and learners from EAPC Tamani Primary School, Igembe North constituency from Meru County, Kagwampungu Primary School, South Imenti constituency, Meru County, who are seated in the public gallery. On my own behalf and that of the House, we welcome you to observe the proceedings of the House. The next one will go to the member for Embakasi West, Honorable Mark Mwenje.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine is a request for a statement regarding unlawful detention of the body of the late Ms. Margaret Njoki Mboro in Kenyatta University Funeral Home. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standard 44(2)C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health regarding the detention of the body of the late Ms. Margaret Njoki Mboro. Honorable Speaker, Ms. Margaret Njoki Mboro of ID number 318484 was admitted at Poplar Hospital, Nairobi until her untimely demise on 4th June 2024. Her body was transferred to Kenyatta University Funeral Home. The family was left with an outstanding hospital bill of 2.8 million. The funeral home, with instructions from the hospital, has detained her body, demanding that her family offsets the bill. Sadly, the family of the deceased hails from a humble background and has struggled immensely to offset the pending bill. This situation has caused grave emotional distress to the family and has denied them the right to accord their loved one a dignified burial. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health on the following. 1, reasons for the unlawful detention of the body of the late Miss Margaret Njoki, borrowed by the Kenyatta University Funeral Home from 4th June of 2024 to date. 2, urgent measures being taken to ensure that the family of the late Miss Margaret Njoki Mboro is accorded the dignity and right to bury their loved one. 3, long-term measures being put in place to ensure that no person is denied the right to bury their loved ones due to lack of finances to offset hospital bills. And finally, 4, a detailed report on the policy in place, if any, to support families unable to settle hospital bills, particularly in cases of prolonged detainment. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Committee on Health, the Chair. The Vice Chair is here, Honorable Patrick.
Thank you, Chair. The question is in 2 parts. 1, the release of the body. That's being an urgent thing. It's a matter we can bring an answer on Tuesday because burial is an urgent issue. But on the second part of the policy in place, that can take 2 weeks after release as we come from recess.
Very well. We expect a partial response on Tuesday and the rest after we resume. Honorable Gashofe Samuel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to request for a statement regarding incomplete work along Subukia Solai Road, D366. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44.2c, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the incomplete work on Solai Subukia Road, D366. Honorable Speaker, the construction of the 65-kilometer Solai Subukia Road, D366, by the China Henan International Cooperation Group Co. Limited began in 2018, but was significantly delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic, leading to the suspension of work. Upon resumption, the contractor was expected to complete the entire road, including the crucial 1-kilometer section through Subukia town, linking to the Nakuru-Nyahururu Road. However, the segment remains unfinished. Additionally, 2 planned permanent bridges were not built and were replaced with temporary structure that have since deteriorated and are at risk of collapsing, creating serious safety concerns. These incomplete and unsafe conditions demand immediate collective action to ensure public safety and protect the infrastructure. Additionally, essential components of the project, including assessed culverts, speed bump, clear road signage, and thorough road mapping, were neglected. The absence of these fundamental elements undermines the road standard and efficiency, posing significant risk to motorists and local communities. In this regard, urgent evaluation and corrective actions are necessary to prevent further damage and ensure the road meets required safety and quality standards. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. Roman 1, current status of the Solai Subukia Road project, especially the critical 1-kilometer segment passing through Subukia town, intended to link with the Nakuru-Nyahururu Road, and the timeline, budgetary allocation for its completion. 2, confirmation on whether the contractor has been paid the full contract sum, including retention, and whether the payment was backed by the certificate of completion and handover. 3, steps being taken by the ministry to replace the deteriorating temporary bridges structures with permanent and safe alternatives. 4, measures in place to install culverts, elect speed bumps, put up traffic and load signage, and undertake complete load mapping. 5, existing budgetary provisions for the maintenance of the entire road to address worn-out sections and emerging potholes. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chairman, Honorable GK.
Honorable Speaker, I'll provide a response the second week after the recess.
You have the recess to work, so first week after recess.
Second week.
First week,
Okay,
it's
thank you.
directed.
Thank you.
We have some responses, honorable members. The one that is scheduled here, Honorable Tubi Bidu, is he in the house? I want to, is this the same question, Honorable Raso, that we tabled the response in the morning? Because it will be superfluous to do both.
Honorable Speaker, I believe with your indulgence, the chairman can give the response, although I believe it was actually
Honorable
the same.
Raso, I just wanted to confirm it's the same statement because we were here in the morning, the member was not present, and it was directed that the question and the response be tabled, and you tabled it.
Yes, indeed.
So we can't then have the response being done again in the afternoon session.
Yes, indeed, that was the same response.
Good. It was tabled in the morning, and it will rest at that. The next one is the Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations. I have a question from Honorable George Gachagua. Are you in the house? Is the member in the house? If the member is not in the house, table the response.
Very good, Madam Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 8.
Hold on. What is out of order?
Madam Speaker, this morning I was away. I was not feeling well, but I came back. And then it was put on the order paper. The same reply. Now that I'm here, why don't you...
Honorable member.
Yes.
Honorable member.
Yes, Madam
I
Speaker.
sympathize you are unwell, but this house does not make pronouncements in vain. That response was tabled in the morning session, and we cannot then prosecute it in the same afternoon.
But I need to react on the what was tabled. That is what I have. Can I be allowed?
This matter again. No, I'm not opening this matter again. We processed it in the morning, and it was actually dealt with. On the same? Chairman.
Madam Speaker, I'm actually supporting your position, but besides the report being tabled this morning by my vice chair, the same issue was prosecuted very well by the CS on the floor of this house yesterday.
Then it is done.
Yes.
Next order.
Order number 8, the Government-Owned Enterprises Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2025, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the establishment, control, governance, performance, and ownership of government-owned enterprises, public service obligation in respect of government-owned enterprises, facilitate the reconstitution of existing government-owned enterprises into public limited liability companies for the transfer of assets, liabilities, and the business of the government-owned enterprises to companies and for connected purposes. Order number 9, the Quality Health and Patient Safety Bill, National Assembly Bill number 41 of 2025, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to give effect to Article 43(1)(a) of the Constitution to provide for the responsibility of the national and the county governments in the realization of quality of healthcare for patients, to provide for the establishment, powers, and functions of the Quality Healthcare and Patient Safety Authority, registration, licensing, and accreditation of health facilities, to provide for the setting of standards for quality of healthcare and for connected purposes. Order number 10, the Kenya Judiciary Academy Bill, National Assembly Bill number 42 of 2025, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to establish the Kenya Judiciary Academy to give effect to Article 172(1)(d) of the Constitution to provide for the management, functions, and powers of the Kenya Judiciary Academy and for connected purposes. Order number 11, special motion, consideration of nominees for appointment as chairperson and member of the National Police Service Commission.
Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Administration.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that, taking into consideration the finding of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security in its report on approval hearing of the nominee for the position of the chairperson and the member of the National Service Commission laid on the table of the House on this day, Thursday, 14th August 2025, and pursuant to the provision of Article 246(2) and the 250 of the Constitution and Section 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, approve the appointment of the following nominee: the chairperson and the member of the National Police Service Commission, the chairperson being Dr. Amani Yuda Komora, PhD, MBS, as the chairperson. 2, Ms. Angelina Yamiton Siparo, EBS, as a member. Honorable Speaker, the nomination of the two was conveyed to the Speaker's office on the 25th July, together with their curriculum vitae and testimonial and the report of the selection panel, which was attached to the same. And pursuant to the Standing Order 42, on the 5th August, the Honorable Speaker conveyed the message from His Excellency the President to the House on the nomination of the two for the appointment to the position said. The names of the nominees were referred to the Departmental Committee for the approval hearing. Upon conclusion of the hearing, the committee was required to table its report to enable the House to consider the matter within the statutory timelines. Consequently, in fulfillment of the provision of Article 118 of the Constitution and the Section 64 of the Public Appointment Act, Cap 7F, and the Standing Orders 47(3), the Clerk of the National Assembly on the Wednesday the 6th notified the public through the print media and the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security that will conduct an approval hearing for the two on the third Wednesday, yesterday. Honorable Speaker, further in accordance with the Section 6(9) of the Public Appointment, Cap 7F, the Clerk of the National Assembly placed an advert in the print media on the Wednesday the 6th, inviting the public to submit their memoranda by the way of writing statement on oath on the stability or otherwise of each of the nominee in accordance to the Public Appointment Act. The public and the advertisement indicated the submissions were to be received by the 12th Tuesday by the closure of that was on the 5th, 5 p.m. Further, on the 6th, the Clerk of the Assembly wrote to the letters to the ODPP, ESCC, KRA, HELP, DCI, political parties, in reference to the background check relating to the stability of the said nominees. Honorable Speaker, the nominee appeared before the committee on the Wednesday 13th for approval hearing in accordance with the provision of the Constitution and the National Police Service Commission Act, Cap 85, and the Public Appointment Act and the National Assembly Standing Orders. During the approval hearing, Honorable Speaker, the committee considered the provision of the Constitution, Section 5 of 6 of the National Police Service Act, and the public appointment, and the nominee filled their questionnaires and their curriculum vitae, academic credential, professional training, experience, personal integrity, and the background report from relevant authorities and oral submission by the nominees, and made the following observation. The nominees were nominated in accordance to the provision of Article 246(2) and 252 of the Constitution and the Section 65 of the National Police Service Act, and the nominees are Kenyan citizens in conformity with Article 78 of the Constitution and Section 5 and National Police Service Commission. They submitted not to participate in any gainful employment in serving as state officers as required by the article and in accordance with the Article 772 of the Constitution, Section 5 of the National Police Service Commission, and the schedule of the Public Appointment Act 7. None of the nominees holds an office in any political party. The nominees demonstrated compliance with Article 75 and 76 of the Constitution on the conduct and financial probity of the state officers. They indicated non-existence of potential conflict of interest and committed to declare any should it arise. By the said deadline of the receipt of the memoranda, Honorable Speaker, from the members of the public, the committee had not received any against any of the candidates. The committee, however, received a recommendation letter from the Women Challenge to the Challenge organization supporting the nominee of Ms. Angelina Yamiton Siparo. The nominee met the requirement of Chapter 6 of Constitution, leadership and integrity, having obtained clearance from the relevant statutory bodies. The nominees demonstrated deep understanding of the topical administrative, technical issues touching on governance, the role of the chairperson, and the member of the National Police Service Commission. Honorable Speaker, and during the approval hearing, Honorable Speaker, I want to confess that the members of the committee were so impressed with the credentials of the said nominees, and even how they presented and demonstrated their ability to steer the National Police Service Commission forward, especially considering the turmoil between the kind of tug of war and push between the National Police Service Commission and the NPS currently. And to be in particular, Honorable Speaker, I want just to highlight a bit the position of the chair, which is Dr. Amin Yuda, PhD, comes from Tana River, from the Pokomo, a minority and marginalized community, and is a distinguished human resource management professional with an extensive academic and professional credentials. He earned a PhD in human resource management from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and a master's in human resource management and a Bachelor of Arts in anthropology, sociology from the University of Nairobi. He holds a diploma in human resource from Institutes of Personal Management acquired in 2002-2000 and is a certified human resource professional, certified in 2024. He has served in several institutions, both private and public. Honorable Madam Speaker, he has been served in very senior positions in this republic, one notably being the vice chairperson of SRC, where he has really helped the SRC to achieve major milestones from the year 2018 to 2024. And to prior to that, he was a general manager of human resource administration for the same. From 2012 to 2018, he worked as a human resource manager at Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. And it's notable to also mention, Madam Speaker, that he has actually demonstrated the issues of ethics and morals, not just when he worked there, but even throughout his career life as a civil servant. And he managed really to demonstrate so when we followed his track record during his career progression. In his earlier career, including service at the Kenya Revenue Authority. He rose from management trainee to a senior human resource and a public relation officer. He worked as a project officer at the East African Wildlife Society. And I've got no doubt, Madam Speaker, and the committee were equally convinced that Dr. Yuda is fit for the job, especially coming at such a time also when the National Police Service Commission, jointly with the NPS, anticipating to carry one of the biggest recruitment of our police officers, possibly next month. On the part of Angelina Siparo, EBS, Ms. Siparo is a seasoned professional in counseling psychology and a public health policy. And she also hailed from Narok, and actually in particular, minority subclan of Syria community within the Ma community. She holds a Master of Arts in Counseling Psychology and a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, both from the United States USIU, with a master's degree completed in 1993. She has also undergone specialized training in corporate governance and worked in several NGOs, and like you said, where she was like award management and strategic leadership in HIV and AIDS program. She held numerous leadership roles across regional and international organizations. Most recently, she worked at the Young African Leaders Initiative, YALI, from the 2023 to early 2025. And prior to that, she served as a project team leader at the Africa Union and Africa CDC. She was also the chairperson of the AIDS Council, NASCOP. From the year 2015 to 2021, she was the Senior Eastern and Southern Africa Regional Advisor and a Kenya Country Director at the Population Reference Bureau. She also serves as the Country Director for the Catholic Medical Mission Board from the 2012 to 2025, and as a Regional Manager for the East African at the Health Policy Initiative and the Futures Group International. And she has also worked extensively as a consultant for organizations such as the Women Rising International, Yamaya Health Advisory Population Reference Bureau, UN Women Action, Africa Help International, Catholic Medical Mission Board, International Relief and Development, and ActionAid International, focusing on governance and human resource, HIV and AIDS, and gender-based violence. Her board and advisory roles are extensive. She is the current chairperson of the Ma Women Network and a trustee of the Frontline, and has served as the board of the Moi Girls Nairobi and Narok County Rival Economic Forum. Madam Speaker, you can't exhaust the rich experience of the two distinguished Kenyans who had been considered for nomination in this position as the chair and the member of the National Police Service Commission, respectively. And Honorable Madam Speaker, it is also notable to note that just recently, last month, this House did approve the 3 members who had earlier been already in office, working in the National Police Service Commission. And the 2 will join a team of professional, committed, and passionate Kenyans who are, I'm sure, Madam Speaker, they are so prepared and committed to serve this country diligently, as they have already demonstrated in various categories that they served this country before. Madam Speaker, I earlier mentioned that these 2 members are coming at a time when the National Police Service, jointly with the NPS, are preparing to undertake the recruitment of 10,000 officers, both including the constables and cadets. And of course, there's a whole big question of whether to do it digital or still go the manual. And we have no doubt that the 2 will add value and will actually enrich the experience of already the commissioners who are already in office. Madam Speaker, I want just to be honest that these are extremely experienced and qualified members to serve in this position. And Madam Speaker, I want to conclude by saying, Madam Speaker, the committee having held approval hearing of the nominee regarding their stability and pursuant to Article 250 of the Constitution, Section 6 of the section of National Police Service Commission Act, and the public.
You have switched off the chair.
Yeah. What is happening?
Go on.
Okay,
Honorable.
just the gadgets, no problem. I'm actually winding up. The committee, Madam Speaker, the committee recommends the National Assembly approve the nomination of the following as the chairperson and the members of the National Police Service: Dr. Amani Yuda Komora, PhD, MBS as a chairperson, and Ms. Angelina Yamiton Ziparo, EBS as a member. And Honorable Speaker, with these few remarks, I beg to move. And I now request the Honorable Retired Colonel Dido Raso to second this motion. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. Before Honorable Raso, given the high traffic in our galleries, allow me to recognize students and learners in the public gallery, Kiandieri Secondary School from Kirinyaga Central, Kirinyaga County, AIC Visa Oshual, Baringo Central, Baringo County, CCM Ruerigo Primary School from Tharaka Nithi County, and in the Speaker's Gallery, Kiambala Primary School from Molo, Nakuru County, and Tayari Primary School, Molo, Nakuru County. On behalf of the House, we welcome all of them to observe the proceedings of the House. Honorable Dido Raso, you can go ahead to second the motion.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to second, and I want to say as follows. Both Dr. Amani Yuda Komora and Ms. Ziparo will be, if this House approves, will be the members of the National Police Service Commission. This actually completes the circle of the National Police Service Commission that already has 7 members. With these 2, it makes the complete remit of the 9 members that is stipulated in our Constitution. Honorable Speaker, our Constitution, Article 246, says as follows, that the composition is a person who is qualified to be a judge of the High Court, 2 retired senior police officers, 3 persons of integrity who have served the public with distinction, IG and 2 DIGs who represent the AP and the National Police. The purpose or the work of the National Police Service Commission is cut out in this part of the Constitution. To recruit, to confirm appointments, determine promotions, transfers, exercise disciplinary control, and also remove individuals from appointments if they so this fit. Madam Speaker, the composition of the National Police Service Commission from our committee actually reflects regional and ethnic diversity. If you take all the 9 members, actually they come from different regions, and also they represent different ethnic groups who live in the land called Republic of Kenya. Madam Speaker, the committee also went through the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, the issue of consideration. What were the issues? Any constitutional or statutory requirement, suitability of the nominees, their abilities, the experience they will bring to the National Police Service Commission, and also qualities As my chairman has ably extolled, we as committee, we were convinced beyond reasonable doubt that these two individuals will add both experience, knowledge, and they bring fresh commitment to the National Police Service Commission. Finally, Madam Speaker, we expect the National Police Service Commission, the National Police Service, and IPOA going forward to work together seamlessly to provide service to the people of Kenya. With those remarks, I beg to second. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, Honorable Ngogoyo, you are totally out of order. Freeze where you are. Honorable members, allow me to propose the question that taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security in its report of the approval hearing of nominees for appointment as the chairperson and member of the National Police Service Commission laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 14th August 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 246(2) and 252 of the Constitution and Sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act Cap 7F, this House approves the appointment of the following nominees as the chairperson and member of the National Police Service Commission. Number 1, Dr. Amani Yuda Komora, MBS, as chairperson, and number 2, Ms. Angeline Yamiton Siparo, EBS, member of the commission. Honorable member for Marakwet East, Honorable Bowen.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support my good friend, the chair of National Administration, the Honorable Tongoyo. And I want to appreciate him together with the committee for this report, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to support the appointment of Dr. Amani Yuda Komora as the chair of National Police Service Commission and the Commissioner Angeline Siparo. Madam Speaker, the National Police Service Commission is very important. In the management of our National Police Service, as provided for in our Constitution, they are supposed to recruit and manage our policemen. Madam Speaker, it is a very important commission for our country. Though we saw in the recent past the wrangles between the commission and the Inspector General. And Madam Speaker, as a House, I think we need to make sure that our Constitution is implemented to the letter. Madam Speaker, I don't see the reason at all as to why the Commission and the Inspector General have to quarrel over the payroll or police service, because the Constitution is very clear. But again, Madam Speaker, we want to ask the Inspector General of Police to concentrate on protecting Kenyans, to concentrate on making sure that there is law and order in the country, and not to fight on the payroll of police. That is, Madam Speaker, it is clear in the Constitution. So, as a House, Madam Speaker, we want to seek the approval of these two commissioners so that we can have the commission function, discharge the constitutional duties of this commission of managing our policemen and women. Madam Speaker, from the CVs given by the Honorable Chair, you can see very clearly that the two individuals here, they are very qualified Kenyans. Dr. Yuda Komora from a small community in Tana River. Madam Speaker, that is why we have said as a House, this Kenya belongs to all of us. This Kenya belongs to all Kenyans. and all Kenyans have the opportunity to serve in any office in this country. Mr. Speaker, it is very encouraging to see this gentleman, Dr. Amani Yuta Komora, from a small pastoralist community in Tana River, rising through the ranks and now to become the commissioner or to become the chair of the Commission of National Police Service. Madam Speaker, with the lady, Angeline Siparo, I've seen the CV, Madam Speaker, and I can as well also say she's very qualified. And this is a woman who has also, she has worked, she has a master's in counseling and psychology, which is very important, especially with our policemen. We have seen many police officers of late, some of them even they are committing suicide because of work-related duties. And I think with the coming in of Angeline Siparo, with all this qualification, is going to help to also make sure that there is a provision of guiding and counseling to our police officers. And you know, Madam Speaker, also, even as we discuss these commissioners, we should also discuss the police officers who are on the field. Madam Speaker, in many times during a discharge of duties, we have seen our police officers, sometimes the public also, beating them around, like during the time of demonstrations. But if you go back again, Madam Speaker, you see how these officers are operating, the environment in terms of their housing, where they live, in terms of their salaries. Madam Speaker, I think we need also to be fair to these servicemen and women, so that even through our affordable housing, we want our government, as they work on the affordable housing in slum upgrading, Madam Speaker, they should also focus on housing, giving a decent houses to our police officers. Madam Speaker, as I finish, we want the two commissioners to streamline operations in our national police. Because, Madam Speaker, we have raised our policemen, some of them who are doing a very good job, but we have some, are very rogue police officers. Madam Speaker, in the recent past, we have talked about abductions. Yesterday, I read a statement of one of my officers, Madam Speaker, who was abducted last Thursday. Up to today, he has not been found. He was abducted by policemen. So, we want, Madam Speaker, to call out our policemen. They need to discharge their duties with a lot of professionalism and with the rule of law and following the Constitution. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, with those many remarks, I want to support the appointment and the approval of the two commissioners.
Member for Sirisia.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Let me also take this opportunity to support the two commissioners who have been nominated. Madam Speaker, they both qualify to be commissioners. So, Madam Speaker, I'm supporting. Madam Speaker, the commission of late, Madam Speaker, or maybe it is new, because I've been also a member of the Administration and National Security, Madam Speaker. There before, it used not to be the way the Commission is handling things, Madam Speaker. I'm bringing even a motion, Madam Speaker, of adjournment of the House, Madam Speaker, to discuss on the same, Madam Speaker, about the CEO of the Commission, Madam Speaker, concerning what is going on, Madam Speaker, with the IG. Madam Speaker, it is not in order for these two officers to pull each other instead of working.
But of late, Madam Speaker, the payroll has brought a problem. The two officers, when we see them on the media, pulling each other, Madam Speaker, about the payroll. And Madam Speaker, that is what is making Kenyans wondering why and what is going on, Madam Speaker, in the face of Kenyans whom they are supposed to look after, to keep proper security in this country, Madam Speaker. And even yesterday, I expected the Honorable CS to talk about it. But Madam Speaker, briefly, he said that he has a plan that he's calling them next week to sort them out. Madam Speaker, it is this House that gave the mandate to the IG to police to be independent, to have their money, to pay the police officers. And now, the way it is going, Madam Speaker, to me, the commission, the National Police Commission, cannot have a payroll to pay the police, although the way it is, Madam Speaker, the National Police Service, the police is under the National Police Service Commission. But the mandate of this House was given to the IG to pay the police. So, Madam Speaker, even us, as members of this House, we need to go back and ask ourselves, because we cannot pass a bill or a motion and then we reverse like what some of us are talking about, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is high time now. The National Police Commission to refer to what we passed in this House some 2-3 years ago, so that if they can read the bill that we passed here about the police IG to be in charge of the payroll to pay the police, then there will be no tug of war between the two officers, the commission and the IG, Madam Speaker. I support.
The next speaker, allow me to recognize again students from Tayari Secondary School from Molo, Nakuru County in the gallery. I know we had read them out, but the cohort was too large and they were split in two. So allow me to welcome them to the House. Next speaker will be the member for Funyula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Also allow me to join my colleagues in supporting the motion for the consideration of nominees for appointment as chairperson and member of the National Police Service Commission of the Republic of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, the National Police Service is part of the national security organs established under Article 239 of the Constitution of Kenya. And in the discharge of their powers and duties, Honorable Speaker, the National Security Service is subject to the authority of this Constitution and Parliament. The national security should be pursued in compliance with the law and with the utmost respect for the rule of law, democracy, human rights, fundamental freedoms. In performing their functions and exercise their powers, national security shall respect the diverse culture of the communities within Kenya. And the recruitment of the national security organs shall reflect the diversity of the Kenyan people in equitable proportions. Honorable Speaker, the work of the National Police Service, as again set out in Article 246, is clearly cut out. Indeed, Honorable Speaker, there is no lacuna in law. There is no conflict in the law between the operational mandate of the the Commissioner General of Police and the National Police Service. What we have currently, Honorable Speaker, is either a tough war or a basic sibling rivalry that is designed to defeat the provisions of the Constitution. I therefore stand here and pray and hope Dr. Yuda Komora, PhD, and Madam Angeline Imotim Siparo, plus all the other commissioners, will do nothing else but sit down and read the Constitution, read the National Police Service Act, and read the relevant laws and streamline the operations and management of the police service. Honorable Speaker, a dysfunctional police service is a threat to national security. A police service that is at war with itself is a threat to national security, cohesion, welfare, and economic well-being of the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, with the diverse and advanced experience in human resource mobilization, community management, the lady and the gentleman, should be in a position now to get us right. Honorable Speaker, there are very many challenges with the National Police Service, both operational and the normal services of the service. Honorable Speaker, in the Maraga working report, one of the recommendations the Maraga team made, one of the far-reaching recommendations, and what the Honorable Luke has mentioned too, sometimes in the course of about 2 to 3 years, the National Police Services delegated some of their powers and duties and mandate to the IG, Inspector General. And because of that delegation that did not come with authority, did not come with supervision, there has been mismanagement one way or another. So, Honorable Speaker, we call upon, as the Maraga report recommended, the National Police Service should draw that delegated authority that was given to the IG and let it revert to the Commission as required for in the Act and in the Constitution. Finally, Honorable Speaker, we are going to the recruitment of new police officers. And one of the requirements of the Constitution that the recruitment of the National Police members must reflect the diverse culture and must have the face of this country. In the past, this recruitment has been undertaken in a very opaque manner, that you find any particular community, any particular region has a high proportion of members of the police force compared to other people. As they embark on the recruitment, issue of integrity, Honorable Speaker, is always said that you must have a bit 200,000 or 300,000 for you to be recruited in the police force. Indeed, whoever bribes to join the police force is going to be the major purveyor or perpetrator of corruption in the police force in order to recover the investment. It is good, there has been tremendous improvement, but again, the police service remains one of the most corrupt state organ in this country. But we must also allow the police, the men and the women, the young men and the young women who throughout this country to ensure the semblance of safety and there is proper management of the affairs of this country. But I want also to warn the police, individual police, if you accept and implement an illegal order, if you proceed and implement an illegal instruction that's not grounded in the Constitution, not grounded in law, the problem when you go to the dock, when you are charged in a court of law, you'll be you and you alone and your family members. So I want to urge the National Police Service Commission, the new members, and IPOA to ensure that police and all security organs respect the rule of law. Killing and maiming innocent protesters is against the Constitution, is ungodly, is unbiblical, and is against the culture of this country. Their blood will come to haunt you, you and you alone, and your family members. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support.
Honorable Murugara.
Thank you very much. Madam Speaker, I'm on intervention because I'm understanding on 95 that in fact we are all in agreement that we approve this list as proposed by the chair, and therefore I move that you call upon the mover to reply.
Mover to reply. Yes.
Honorable members, the decision is yours. A member has risen under Standing Order number 95, and I will therefore put the question that the mover be called to reply. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to appreciate and thank the members who have contributed to this debate. And I want again to assure the House and the country that from the interviews and approval hearing of the two, we have got no doubt these are the best qualified Kenyans to steer the much yearned reform in the National Police Service, and of course to help even us wipe out the endemic corruption in the service. And Madam Speaker, it is good that we all appreciate that we are anticipating the recruitment, and these two Kenyans, distinguished Kenyans, will be joining the service, and they know their work already cut out for them. With this, Madam Speaker, I reply.
Honorable members, I therefore put the question that, taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security in its report on the approval hearing of the nominees for appointment as chairperson and member of the National Police Service Commission, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 14th August 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Articles 246(2) and 252 of the Constitution and Sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, this House approves the appointment of the following nominees as the chairperson and member of the National Police Service Commission. Number 1, Dr. Amani Yuda Komora, MBS, as chairperson, and Ms. Angeline Yamiton Siparo, EBS, as member. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 12, the Computer Misuse and Cyber Crimes Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 41 of 2024, second reading and resumption of debate.
From our list of contributors, it was the Honorable Silvanus Osoro was on the floor, is not available, so Majority Leader, kindly proceed.
And I think Osoro, Honorable Speaker, you have not completed this time. I thought you completed this time. Too bad.
Honorable Osoro has a balance of 5 minutes, but
okay.
It's behind us now.
But he loses it now. Now that he's very busy in Kisii today. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this bill on the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Amendment Bill number 2024, not number 2024, by the Honorable Aden Dawoodi Mohamed. Honorable Speaker, I listened to quite a number of contributions earlier this week, some that were very misguided, and I think one of the contributors had not even read the bill. Fortunately, when we engage with that member, without naming names, with the Honorable Aden Dawoodi, outside here, he conceded that he had actually not read the bill and was just speaking to speak to the gallery. Because this bill is not about curtailing the freedom of Kenyans to express themselves online or in any other way, or using online platforms, but it seeks to protect the children you see up here coming to witness how we legislate. This bill is seeking to protect them from abuse, either through things that they watch, pornographic material that they watch, from being radicalized through extremist views, be it religious or cultic practices, or even recruiting them into acts of terrorism online. Because, Honorable Speaker, it is a known fact by those who are in the security sector that there are those who have been radicalized into terrorism online. and are recruited online. And quite a number of members who, from the Coast region will tell you how young people have been recruited into terrorist groups from online platforms and lured others into crime and other things, Honorable Speaker, through online platforms. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, right from clause 3 of the bill, you see, it seeks to amend section 6 of the Act that gives the National Computer and Cybercrimes Coordination Committee an additional function of issuing directives on websites and applications that may be rendered inaccessible within the country where the website or application promotes illegal activities, promotes child pornography, terrorism, and extreme religious and cultic practices. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, when I listened to some of the contributions that were being made here on Tuesday, I really wondered where they were getting those things on this bill. Because we must restrict ourselves to the contents of the legislative proposals that are before us. And these bills, Honorable Speaker, I keep telling members, even if you have not read the bill, just go to the objects and the memorandum of the bill and you'll be able to figure out what the bill seeks to amend, Honorable Speaker. Because I heard a member saying, oh, let us allow the Kenyans to express themselves. Nobody is asking Kenyans not to express themselves. And if anything, Honorable Speaker, there is no other country in sub-Saharan Africa where people have the kind of freedom Kenyans have online. Freedom to express themselves and even freedom to harass others. And they do it, Honorable Speaker, without anyone curtailing them. And therefore, the intent of this bill is not to stop anybody from harassing any politician online or stop you from abusing Honorable Aden Daoud, the proposer of the bill, or Kimani Ichung'wah, or indeed anybody you want to abuse or insult. That is your right. You go ahead and do it. It never changes anything, by the way. And I keep telling people, you're only wasting your data insulting people. You're only wasting your time and your money. Spend your time more usefully doing productive things like online jobs that will earn you a living instead of spending your time insulting leaders, politicians, and whoever you think you can insult, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, I was saying, Honorable Speaker, if you read the objects of this bill, you will see that it seeks to protect the most vulnerable people in our society, our children, from acts of child pornography, Honorable Speaker. 2, Honorable Speaker, acts of terrorism and extreme religious and cultic practices also, as I said, many of our young people have been lured into terrorism and extreme cultic practices. You've seen, Honorable Speaker, Shakahola years ago. We've just seen another village still in the same Kilifi County, Honorable Speaker, and you do not know, I saw the Minister for Interior last night saying that they have close to 300 bodies that cannot be identified. Honorable Speaker, because probably these are people who were lured even online, went into Shakahola and ended up dying there, and their relatives do not know where these people are, Honorable Speaker. And some may have died with their entire families, and that's why we cannot trace them. Therefore, we must protect the most vulnerable in our society, Honorable Speaker, as I said, including our children, from these illegal activities like child pornography, terrorism, extreme religious and cultic practices, Honorable Speaker, without in any way curtailing the freedoms of the people of Kenya to engage constructively online. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the issue that, again, I had one of the members speak about cyber harassment, is already provided for in the Act, Honorable Speaker, under Section 27 of the Act, and is very clear on what constitutes cyber harassment, Honorable Speaker. Because, again, it is true, children and young people in this country have committed suicide because of cyber harassment, Honorable Speaker. If, as leaders, we cannot protect those young ones, our children, who will protect them, Honorable Speaker? Because when I listen to those populist views that were being echoed here, Honorable Speaker, by a member from Murang'a County, very populist, seeking to speak to the gallery, to make Kenyans to believe that this bill, the Honorable Aden Daoud, wants to curtail the freedom of Kenyans from expressing themselves online, Honorable Speaker. I wondered, do you have children? Or do you represent parents who have children some of who have lost their lives because of being harassed online, Honorable Speaker, and some just can't live with it, and they end up committing suicide, Honorable Speaker. Some end up getting into criminal activities because they've been lured into criminal activities. Others get into antisocial behavior like prostitution, Honorable Speaker, because they have seen it on TikTok and other platforms that this is the way to do things. We must, as responsible leaders, be slow to what we think is popular with the people. Because we have said it here time and time again, Honorable Speaker, that necessarily, it's not always necessarily what is popular is right. And in most cases, Honorable Speaker, what is popular is never right. It's just popular. And therefore, when I listen to a member speak in a way he's just looking for, speaking to the gallery to seek cheap publicity, Honorable Speaker, at the expense of our children, I am left wondering whether you're a parent. And if you are a parent, how irresponsible of a parent you could be to expose our children to cyber harassment, expose them to child pornography. Honorable Speaker, not just children. This bill is also addressing issues touching on our economy. The act of fishing, Honorable Speaker. How many people have you had on mainstream media, in our villages, even online, Honorable Speaker, who out of fishing have lost money from their bank accounts, out of SIM swaps, because this bill is also addressing the question of SIM swap, or swapping of SIMs, Honorable Speaker. People have had their accounts cleaned. People have had their bank accounts cleaned, their M-Pesa accounts cleaned by criminals, Honorable Speaker. So if you want to make Kenyans to believe that this bill is working against them so that you allow criminals to continue stealing from Kenyans, you are no better than those criminals who are fishing people's information, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, if you look at the contents of this bill, Honorable Speaker, it also seeks to protect Kenyans from phishing and also issues to do with SIM swaps that has become very prevalent in our country, Honorable Speaker. And I know there's a small village in Bomet County, and I don't know if members from Bomet County are here. Somebody told me that if you are driving through Mulot, because of the industry there, the creative industry there, you better switch off your phone. Honorable Speaker, we do not need to switch off our phones when we are driving through Mulot or near Committee Prison or Industrial Area Remand Prison. All we need is to have laws that will protect us from having our phones being hacked into, having our information fished and our accounts cleaned, Honorable Speaker, and also to ensure that the data protection laws that we have also enacted in this House, Honorable Speaker, also help those who are in the cyberspace and the online space, Honorable Speaker, from protecting our data online. Because again, Honorable Speaker, through phishing, people are creating websites or sending messages through their computers and their phones that is inducing people to websites, and recipients of such messages end up disclosing their very personal data that others should not have been disclosed. And therefore, with this, Honorable Speaker, we will have penalties for people who create such websites, Honorable Speaker, and protect the people of Kenya from this. Honorable Speaker, that is not to say that, as I was saying, those who are using online platforms cannot do whatever else they want to do constructively, whether it is online jobs. Those who want to insult politicians can go ahead and do it. They will not benefit from anything by insulting anyone, Honorable Speaker. And if anything, I've told members of Parliament, don't fear those who are insulting you online. Some will insult you, but are just envious of what you are doing at times. Most of the people you will find insulting you online are the first people to run to you for help, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, that's why I encourage members, nobody should fear anything that is said online. Honorable Speaker, some of us, if we lived by what is said online, Honorable Speaker, we will never do anything. Even this week, I've seen one of some of these media people online post very untrue stories. But I say any story that you sell, Honorable Speaker, may help somebody. In fact, I have seen one this week, Honorable Speaker, that has actually helped our stock exchange for share prices to go up this week. And I said it's a good thing. And some of us may be smiling to the bank because of these negative stories that people think they are selling, but end up being very positive. I therefore want to commend Honorable Dawood for this bill. It is a very progressive bill, Honorable Speaker. Extremely progressive, and we must support it to protect, if not anybody else, our children. These children who are here from this cause, Honorable Speaker, are the most vulnerable of the people in our society today. These are people who are watching 30 seconds, 45 seconds clips on TikTok, and they believe it is true. Everything they see on TikTok. We must be there to protect them, Honorable Speaker. I keep going back to the 2024 finance bill. Kenyans believed all manner of untruths because they were circulated on TikTok and other social media platforms. And when we begged Kenyans, please read the bill and show us those things you are circulating on TikTok, where they are in the bill. They couldn't. They told us, reject, do not amend. Even after we amended what should have been amended, they told us, do not amend, reject. Honorable Speaker, I said it the other day, just before the finance bill of this year, that when we passed the finance bill of 2024 in June, and Kenyans insisted that we reject it, and His Excellency the President sent it back without assent, and we went back and passed the tax amendment laws, the tax procedures law, the business laws 1 and 2 in December of the same year, with the same provisions that were contained in the finance bill. Because the era of misinformation had died off, Kenyans passed, or rather this House passed the laws without incident, without having to lose a life, without any property having to be destroyed, Honorable Speaker, and again without Kenyans being overtaxed, as they were being told. You remember Kenyans had been told that their freehold land would be taxed, their cows, their cattle, their dengu, their avocados would be taxed. And I keep challenging Kenyans today. Show me whose livestock has been taxed. Show me whose freehold land has been taxed, as you are being told. Yet, we adopted those laws as they were in June, in December, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, I just want again to add that, Honorable Speaker, that these laws must protect against misinformation, deliberate disinformation, as happened with the finance bill of 2024, and continues to happen with many other bills in this House and other things in the country, Honorable Speaker, so that we also protect Kenyans from disinformation, you know, in this era and age of AI, Honorable Speaker.
Please give Majority Leader 1 more minute.
Just 1 minute, Honorable Speaker, to conclude that point, that I had a conversation with one of our top doctors, Dr. Gikonyo of Karen Hospital, the other day. And I was with a friend who was saying that she had seen the thing circulating about Dr. Gikonyo promoting certain pharmaceutical products and actually believed it was true. If we do not have laws to protect Kenyans, Honorable Speaker, Kenyans will consume consumables, be it pharmaceuticals or other products, because they believe they are being promoted by people who are credible in society, yet it is the work of innovative people online. And we must protect people, Honorable Speaker, by enacting laws like this, and therefore allow me to commend not just the people of Wajir for electing Honorable Aden Daudi Mohammed, but also himself for proposing such progressive measures to protect the people of Kenya and more so the young ones in our society, Honorable Speaker, and I beg to support.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Honorable members, before I give the next honorable member to contribute to this motion, I would like to go back to order number 7, request for statements. This is going to allow the speaker who just left the chair to be able to prosecute her request for statement. So please, Honorable Mother Wangari, proceed.
Thank you for your indulgence, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Transport, and Infrastructure regarding the deplorable condition of Elementaita Mitimingi Maunarok Road in Nakuru County. Honorable Speaker, the Elementaita Mitimingi Maunarok project is a 23-kilometer road in Nakuru County whose construction officially began in June 2020. The project, which was expected to be completed by March 2023, remains incomplete to date, with certain sections not only being unfinished, but also being in deplorable state, thereby rendering the sections nearly impassable. The road serves as a vital link between agricultural zones, market centers, and tourist sites of the areas, facilitating the transport of farm produce, livestock, and other goods. Its poor condition significantly hampers economic.
Please pass the mic back.
Hampers economic activities such as tourism and pose a safety risk to motorists, border riders, and pedestrians. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. Number one, the reasons why Elementaita Mitimingi Maunarok Road in Nakuru County is in a dilapidated state, yet the project for its construction has not been completed. Number two, a report on the current status of the contract for the said road, particularly with regard to the unfinished Kerimo River Bridge. And number three, the actions taken by the Ministry of Roads and Transport to have repair works of the sections of the road that are in deplorable condition. And finally, an indication on whether the contractor to undertake the construction works is the same entity that had previously been blacklisted for substandard work in other regions of the country. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I can see the chair is still in the house. Chairman?
Honorable Speaker, I will avail a response in the second week after recess.
You seem to like the second week. I would like to give you the first week. I mean, it's straightforward.
That's okay. We work with that.
Okay. Thank you very much. I was just referring to the other question which was asked. I think it was also a statement you said the second week. Okay, honorable members, before we go to you, Honorable Murungara, you are the next I can see. We have our students seated in the speakers gallery this afternoon. We have students from Nandi Hills Primary School, Nandi Hills constituency, Nandi County. Students from Idatene School, Tigania West constituency, Meru County. Students from, I think there is a repetition there for Nandi Hills Primary School, but we also have Seneto Secondary School, Baringo South constituency, Baringo County. I would like, before I go to you, Honorable Murungara, kindly allow the Honorable Mutunga. Mutunga, please welcome all students to the House of Parliament.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I would like to warmly welcome all the students who have decided to come and see what we do in this house. I would like them to know this is where the laws of Kenya are made. Welcome to the House of Parliament. Seek to become one of the people you see here. There is no magic in being here. What you need is to have your dreams, and all dreams are valid. I specifically want to welcome Idatene Primary School, which is from my constituency, and clearly state that it's one of those schools that are giving us a very good mean and helping us to improve the education standards of our constituency. So we are very happy by the management for arranging for this exposure, and we look forward to seeing you keep on growing up, even as you continue academizing your institution. Thank you very much.
Very much. Now let us go to Honorable Gitonga Murungara, member for Tharaka.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to begin by thanking Honorable Aden Mohammed, the member for Wajir East, a member of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, an astute member of Parliament who does not fail in the Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, and also in this House, because he was actually elected by the people of Wajir East to do exactly what he is doing, And I agree with the leader of majority that we should actually be thanking those people for electing Honorable Aden Mohamed, because this is an excellent piece of work, piece of legislation which we should all support, because it is vitally important that while we appreciate we have computers and cyber cafes that we have to use every day, we must also legislate against misuse. And the key word here is misuse, because there cannot be anybody in this house who advocates that we should actually be misusing our computers, our cyber cafes, to commit crimes against other Kenyans. So this law is good law in spite of what various people would hold as their opinion when it comes to debate on what we should be doing. It is vitally important that we put our computers, cyber cafes, and every other gadget that we use electronically into proper use, so that whatever we do is for the betterment of our own lives, is for the betterment of the people of Kenya, it's for the betterment of everyone. Not to come over and argue that at times we should be allowed to misuse our gadgets, we should be allowed to commit cyber crimes against fellow Kenyans and go unpunished. We cannot allow this, because the rule of law is cardinal to our democracy. We must always work within the parameters of the law. Undoubtedly, there are fundamental freedoms and rights which we must protect at all times, including the freedom of speech, which is what some of the opponents of the proposal are trying to say, that by introducing the proposed amendments, we could be gagging people from expressing themselves. Nothing can be far from the truth when it comes to that proposition. Fundamental freedoms are universal. They also apply to everybody, but they have their own limitations. Those limitations are actually set by the law, such that where your fundamental freedom ends, mine starts. We cannot have it indefinite. And therefore, it is important that we control these particular computer uses and cyber cafe uses to avoid committing cyber crimes. What is being curtailed here is the use of computers with improper motives. And we know very well how some Kenyans, when they go to a gadget like a computer or whatever, a telephone or anything else, what they would do is to try and become mischievous, misuse it, so that we are able, using technology, IT, AI, to come up with information which may actually be misleading, which is untrue, and which is totally a crime if you look at against our laws. It is that misuse which sometimes lead to even other incidents like suicide, because people invent derogatory things which they put on the computer about someone, and we are not the same in terms of accommodating what is not useful to us. The net effect is you find our children getting derailed, you find adults committing suicide purely because somebody has decided to misuse the right to a computer himself or herself. We also have the issue of morals, and we are talking about this to a great extent. We always say anything that is repugnant to morality cannot be encouraged in law. If it offends, if it is not in consonance with our laws, it is unlawful. For example, we know very well that people have misused computers to try and get other people into crime. to try and get use the same law that is supposed to protect those persons. It is for this reason that we must emphasize on morals, such that if you take your computer, put in or feed in wrong information, or commit a crime with it, then surely this law should come in and you should get punished for having done so. Therefore, it is important for everybody to know that we should be using our computers rightfully. You should be using our cyber cafes rightfully. And if you commit an offense, we have a law in this country called the Computer Misuse and Cyber Crimes Act, which will definitely have you brought to book and punished accordingly. So thank you very much, Honorable Aden Mohamed. We do support this bill, and I do urge my fellow members also to support so that we can make these proposed amendments and make our laws better than they are today. Madam Speaker, I do support. Thank you.
The Honorable Dr. John Mutunga, member for Tigania West.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this very, very important bill. Honorable Speaker, cybercrime has been a major issue, not only in Kenya, but the world over. And personally, have been affected, not once, not twice, about 4 times. I've had to destroy my cards, banking cards, because they have already been copied, and payments continue long after use of these cards. That is because people are going out of their way to look for money through even unfair and dubious means. Having a law that can control some of these issues is extremely important. Honorable Speaker, there's a lot of medication in the cyberspace. There's a lot of medication in the internet today. We have extremely purportedly good doctors advising people. It is important to filter this information and to ask ourselves whether we would like to meet a physical doctor or whether we would like to agree or accept what is being offered in the cyberspace. Honorable Speaker, this bill comes to own the things and to put controls in place. And I can't do justice without congratulating Honorable Aden Mohamed for coming up with such good ideas. Honorable Speaker, as we grew up as children, and as we look at the school system, and especially the children who are here today, they know that there are certain topics that were not taught at early age. Even the school syllabus recognizes that certain topics cannot be taught at an early age. Today, if a child of 10 picks a phone, they can access almost anything. And sometimes we wonder, how does this influence the mind of a young child who does not even have an idea how certain things happen? Honorable Speaker, this bill is important because it will keep people at different stages in life with their respective or with the requisite exposure of those particular ages. Honorable Speaker, there are certain activities that have been happening in this country, and Kenya is awash with examples of things that have happened as a result of being influenced through the cyberspace or through the digital exposure. Use of computers is important. Knowledge about use of computers is important. Accessing information from the internet is important. But not all information is useful at any one time, and not all information is relevant. So the issues of relevance and usefulness need to be addressed. And the only way we can do that is coming up with such a legislation. So this legislation comes in basically to control the extent to which certain age groups or certain individuals at different stages in life can access information. Honorable Speaker, we have had cases of people being recruited into terrorism. We know of many Kenyans who have been recruited into terrorism. We have had instances in this country where Kenyans have led terrorists into bombing our institutions and our investments. And that probably could not have happened if this information was curtailed. That probably could not have happened if there was a process of sieving out this information or releasing this information to individuals. Other people, not all information is useful. Only certain information is useful in certain instances. We've also seen cults where people unknowingly have found themselves in a space where they have to make decisions, including decisions that have got to determine whether they continue living or not. This is one of the things that has affected us as a country, and you have many examples. Shakahola is a classical example. We've had other revelations that recently have happened, and when we follow, we realize that it is exposure to tailored information. And some of this information does not come through physical contact or through physical redressing. It comes out sometimes through the virtual means. Madam Speaker, radicalization of our people. It has happened many times. People are fed with negative information. And I take exemption with what happened last year with the finance bill. The finance bill, Madam Speaker, in my very considered opinion, there were 3 versions of the finance bill. There was the finance bill which was being discussed in this House, which was therefore amended through the committee process and brought back to this House. And that is the finance bill which was voted by many members of this parliament. There was a finance bill which was developed by individuals who wanted to pass their own perspective, pass their own perception, and influence Kenyans to think in a specific way. Finance bill that was influencing people to take a decision against the entire content of the bill. And, Honourable Speaker, this particular finance bill was bought not only by the media, not just in the social media, it was even, supported by some of the members of this House. And that is why we pray for objectivity. We pray for everybody to become patriotic in this particular country. Because patriotism has the sense of loving this country first. Because this is home for us and home for our generations to come. Honourable Speaker, for some of the information that may portray, that may be available in the cyberspace, may mislead people. And I believe we were strongly misled that time. Honourable Speaker, this is about protecting our children. This is about guiding our children to consume what is relevant for them at a particular age in time. It is important for children to know that at the end of the day, they will be exposed to everything. There is no need of pulling what does not belong to them. There is no need of trying to learn things that you may not interpret correctly, that you may not perceive. And perception has the connotation of getting to know how to deal with the information that we get. So this bill comes in to basically manage this space, manage the information flow, and manage the access, as it were. Honourable Speaker, I would like to say something about those who are creating websites and those who are in the advertisement, or rather in branding and advertisement. As people try to look for opportunities to make money, as we try to deliver, to get employment in this country, to create more employment in this country, I think it is important for us to create employment in sectors that are supportive of the growth and a proper growth and development of our children. It is good for us to create employment where it benefits Kenyans to grow as normal human beings, interact with the world as it were, and be able to live as normal and well-nurtured human beings. But it's not good for us to grow a people who do not have the correct nurturing, the correct guidance, and therefore such a bill is that important. That's why, Honourable Speaker, I do support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honourable John Kawanjiku, member for Kiambaa. And thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute on this important bill. And I seriously want to congratulate Honourable Member Adenda Wood for coming up with this registration. It was timely and it was long overdue for us that we must be able to do something in terms of protecting our cyberspace And one of the things that I've seen that he has recommended in the bill is that it's not infringing any rights. It's not taking away the rights of the people in the social media and other platforms. But as a country, we must have a way to curtail and even to control whatever our people and our children consume in this republic. It does not only support or the curtails the social media, it also gives us a platform that and give the nation and the executive and the government a platform in case there is a website or something that the children or our children are consuming. We may be able to control it, probably using different authority, Madam Speaker. There must be also a way to make sure that we protect the space of the young ones, the young generations that we're having now in our nation. We must have a way to know what is it that they are consuming on everyday basis, because they are keyboard warriors. You find them in the keyboard, watching TikToks, watching Facebooks and doing other things. But we must also be able to tell as a government what are they consuming, because we don't want to radicalize our children come the next 2 or so years and we are not being able to find out exactly what they have been dealing with. Madam Speaker, this bill is so timely. It's also helping us. It's not only about the cyber crime, it's not only about the social media, but even some extremist religions that probably because the people don't want to assemble on a certain place so that we can listen and understand what really they are feeding on our people, like whatever probably we have been happening to Shakahora and other places. But also we can be able to control and see those online preachers, those online religious, what is this that they're impacting our society with? What is it they're impacting our children with? We must be, in a way, be able to control. And when the worst comes to the worst, we can be able to switch off even what they are consuming, probably using the Communication Authority of Kenya. We have seen it, and I concur with the honorable member, my senior Morugara, who was saying that when you look at even what was happening at 2024, last year, in the social media, what people are putting in the social media, even to an extent of putting people in coffin, which was extreme. We must have a way to control the media and what our people are able to consume. And if possible, the Communication Authority of Kenya should be given that mandate to authoritatively cut off or deal with whatever people are able to consume, probably in our social media, Madam Speaker. Issues to do with pornography, we can be able to control. Sometimes, freedom comes with responsibility. Even if we are even if we are a democratic country, there must be a way for us to make sure that we also be able to manage that democracy and that freedom, Madam Speaker. We must be in a way able to control even when it comes, because now we're in the world of AI, we're in the world of technology. We must up our game as a nation and even as a government to be able to get into those spaces and control and understand what are Kenyans consuming. Because before, the terrorism used to be an act of people coming and bombing the nation and doing all those things. But with the new technology, that terrorism is no longer fashionable. You may find the new ways of terrorism is to radicalize people and even coming with a way to occupy their space. Like even we have, gaming probably, which are also done online. They are not even physically, they don't even have a physical office within the Republic of Kenya. But because now we have opened that space of online, they are able to get to game or to bet and even to do other things in other countries. So as a nation, we must be able to protect and see what our people are consuming in terms of money, how much, because even people are paying these games online, people are paying these to get these pornographies online, to get these materials online. The Communication Authority of Kenya, and I congratulate Honorable Member because he's giving them power to make sure that there is a way that they can be able to control whatever is being consumed by the Kenyans, Madam Speaker. And whatever is bad, whatever is good, they can be able to arouse and to know and to occupy that space and make sure that they are able to control the best way they know how. Madam Speaker, it's not even about money, because it's not a money bill, and it's not even putting a lot of resources to the economy, but he's really trying to use several sections and the authorities that are there to make sure that we control our people, we control our space, we manage whatever our children are consuming, because every child who is about 5, 8 or years, every child has a phone. He's on YouTube, he's on TikTok, he's on Instagram. And sometimes you may not, even as a parent, you may not really be able to control, but we even want to call upon the parents to make sure that they're also controlling and watching what their kids are watching back at home. Because without that without that amendment of this bill, at the end of the day, we'll be, giving our children or feeding our children with some materials that we're not even aware of. Madam Speaker, we must even be able to deal with the religious, some of the religions which are cultism. You find someone following, he follow it online, sit down and worship, do those kind of things that they are doing. And at the end of the day, when you follow into deep, you realize that, this is not even about the religion. It has turned out to be a cult that people are worshiping and doing online, Madam Speaker. So therefore, as a nation, we must be prudent with the responsibility that we have been given and make sure we control the cyberspace and give it freedom. Because all of us has been, in one way or the other, we have been culprit of social media misuse or cybercrime misuse. Even swapping of phone. You have your phone with you, someone take another copy of your ID and swap your SIM card, and at the end of the day, you lose a lot of money that probably you're not even aware of. But because probably someone came with an ID and made a fake ID, those things you find that you have been, robbed a lot of resources. And maybe also your ID has been used or misused, probably online, Madam Speaker. So therefore, it is good, and I want to congratulate Honorable Member for coming up with such a bill so that at least we can be able to clean up that space of the social media and also control whatever is happening within the Republic of Kenya, especially online, Madam Speaker. And therefore, I support. Thank you.
Thank you, Kawanjiko. The Honorable Esther Passaris, member for Nairobi County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Madam Speaker, I rise to support the Computer Misuse and Cyber Amendment Bill number 24 of 2024, sponsored by the Honorable Adam Dawood Mohammed. This bill is not about silencing Kenyans. It's about protecting them, especially our children, from the dangers that unregulated online spaces bring into our homes. A child can sit in the comfort of their living room, phone or tablet in the hand, and in a matter of seconds, be exposed to predators, extremists, recruiters, or explicit pornographic material. Such exposure not only distorts their moral compass, but also erodes their social and cultural fabric. We must stand firm. Popular platforms should be compelled to introduce strong filtering systems to prevent minors from accessing harmful contents. And if they refuse to comply, we must be ready to restrict or even block them in the interest of public safety. Honorable Speaker, other nations have acted decisively to protect their citizens and uphold their values. India has temporarily banned TikTok and other apps of harmful content. Indonesia has blocked platforms until they adhere to national content laws. Australia and the United Kingdom have compelled tech companies to implement age verification and content filtering. Closer to home, Tanzania recently blocked access to the platform X, formerly Twitter, citing the platform's allowance of pornographic content, which they deemed contrary to their laws and cultural norms. These examples show that defending moral standards online is not only possible, it is responsible, and governments around the world are taking them serious. This bill strengthens the powers of the National Computer and Cybercrime Coordination Committee to act swiftly against platforms that promote illegal or harmful content. From child exploitation to terrorism, to cultic indoctrination, to phishing scams and swim swap fraud that has cost Kenyans their life savings, that has cost Kenyans not only their life savings, but also, Honorable Speaker, this is where criminals pretend to be trusted organizations and lure individuals and trick people into revealing sensitive information like passwords, bank details, or ID numbers, often through fake emails, texts, and websites. Kenyans enjoy some of the widest freedoms in expression in Africa, and nothing in this bill removes those freedoms. What it does, it closes loopholes that criminals, predators have been exploiting, ensuring that liberty is not used as a shield for abuse. I therefore support this bill and urge not only my colleagues in this House, but also Kenyans who are active online to look beyond misinformation and understand what the bill truly seeks to address: the protection of our children, the safeguarding of our economy, and the preservation of our moral and cultural values. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I support.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Wilberforce Oundo, member for Funyula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me also stand in solidarity with my colleague, Honorable Daud Ahmed, in supporting the Computer Misuse and Cyber Crime Amendment Bill 2024. Honorable Speaker, I come from a liberal world that has been averse to censorship and some form of control. However, Honorable Speaker, over ages, over years, with this new technology, social media, now having grown up to become a grandfather, I'm starting to have a serious look at this matter in view of the impact it has on the minds of the small boys and girls. So on that score alone, in principle, I support the bill in principle. However, Honorable Speaker, I have 2 points of concern, and I would want to ask my colleague to listen clearly. It's nothing against the bill, but I have 2 points of concern. Number one is the inclusion of terrorist act as part of one of the acts or crimes that can cause disabling of our website or applicable or application. I say so, Honorable Speaker, petty boys and girls, petty young boys and girls, young men who participated in various mandamanos and demonstrations and picketing have been charged under the Terrorism Act, Anti-Terrorism Act. My fear, Honorable Speaker, it therefore means any act to mobilize members to participate in a picketing, in a demonstration that is soon hijacked by goons hired by other politicians and ends up in the destruction of properties, it means that particular boy and girl will be, his gadget, his phone will be disabled, his social accounts will be disabled, literally rendering him inaccessible, and probably if he was using the phone to make money or to make a living, he would be done completely. So, Honorable Speaker, I would want to ask my colleague, and at the point at the committee of the whole House, I'm not very technical savvy, but I'll seek the support, the guidance of those who know. We need to redefine or temper on the meaning of Terrorism Act. The fear of being misused. I have Gen Z children, I have millennium children, I have alpha nieces and nephews. I can share, Honorable Speaker, that even if they have to communicate amongst themselves, even if they have issues as to us parents, they can easily fall within the armpit of this particular bill. So that's a thinking that we must be alive to. Any government can become rogue anytime. Giving a government unfettered powers to regulate to such a deep extent, then, Honorable Speaker, brings an issue that we need to reflect as a country. We might be curing a malady, we might be curing a social problem, but we are creating a dangerous moon star, capable of being misused. It was common, Honorable Speaker, when we were at the university, we never used to have riots and demonstration. We would engage the police with the simple stones. They throw tear gas, we throw stones.